What if I told you that the person you think you are, your name, your body, your memories, is not the real you? What if the world you see, touch, and live in every day is not as real as you believe? And what if God, you, and the entire universe are actually one and the same thing? It sounds impossible, even absurd. But for thousands of years, one ancient philosophy has been whispering this very truth, a truth so bold that if you truly understand it, your life will never be the same again. This is Advaita Vedanta, the philosophy of non-duality. In this journey, we will explore its four core pillars: the Absolute, God, the Self, and the world. By the end, you might just realize that the greatest discovery you'll ever make is not out there in the world, but hidden within yourself. Chapter 1. The Absolute. Imagine trying to describe the taste of water to someone who has never tasted it, or explaining the color blue to someone born blind. That's the challenge philosophers face when they try to talk about the Absolute in Advaita Vedanta. In Advaita Vedanta, the Absolute is called Brahman, the ultimate unchanging reality behind everything we see, hear, and experience. Brahman is not a thing among other things. It is the ground of existence itself. It is the reason anything exists at all. Arvind Sharma explains that Brahman is infinite. It has no boundaries, no shape, no limit. Eternal. It never began and will never end. Unchanging. While the world is always in motion, Brahman remains still and constant. The ancient sages described Brahman using 3 Sanskrit words. Sat, pure existence. Brahman simply is. Chit, pure consciousness. Brahman is awareness itself. Ananda, pure bliss. Not the happiness we feel from good events, but a deep peace beyond ups and downs. Brahman beyond words. Here's the tricky part. Brahman is beyond human language and thought. Anything we say about it is incomplete. Think of it like the ocean. The surface has waves, ripples, and foam, but the deep waters remain calm. The waves may look different, but they are nothing but water. Similarly, all things in the universe, you, me, mountains, stars, are waves in the ocean of Brahman. The Hindu scriptures often warn us, don't confuse the finger pointing to the moon with the moon itself. Words are like the finger. They guide us toward Brahman, but they are not Brahman. Not a personal God, but not separate either. Brahman is not a person sitting in the sky, nor is it an object we can see or touch. It is pure, formless reality. Yet, Brahman is not separate from God. In later chapters, we will see how the same Brahman can appear as Ishvara, the personal God of devotion. But in its highest truth, Brahman is beyond all attributes, neither male nor female, neither kind nor cruel, neither here nor there. The world as Brahman. If Brahman is the only reality, then everything else, including the physical universe, must in some way be Brahman too. This doesn't mean the world is Brahman in a physical sense, like saying wood is a chair. Instead, it means the essence of the world is Brahman, just as gold is the essence of golden ornaments. Sharma points out that this is why Advaita is called non-dual. It says there is no ultimate separation between the divine and the universe. There is only one reality, appearing as many. The journey of understanding. Understanding the Absolute isn't just about memorizing definitions. It's about changing the way you see life. Most of us live in the world of names and forms. My house, your car, this tree, that person. But Advaita asks us to look deeper. Beneath all these differences lies the same unchanging truth. The sages say that when you realize this, not just in your mind but deep in your being, you experience liberation. Fear disappears because you know that your true self cannot be harmed, destroyed, or lost. You are, and have always been, one with the Absolute. So what is Brahman? The answer is both the simplest and the most mysterious. It is everything. It is you. It is me. It is the light by which all things are seen, and yet it cannot itself be seen. And the moment you think you fully understand it, you know you don't. The Absolute can only be known by becoming it. Chapter 2. God. If the Absolute is beyond form, beyond time, and beyond space, then where does the idea of God, the Creator, the Sustainer, the Ruler of the universe, fit in? Is God different from the Absolute, or are they the same? In Advaita Vedanta, the answer is both simple and profound. God is Brahman appearing in a way we can relate to, from the formless to the form. Brahman in its purest form is formless, beyond all qualities, what philosophers call nirguna Brahman, Brahman without attributes. But for us humans, this is hard to imagine, let alone worship. So, the same Brahman appears as Ishvara, the personal God, with qualities we can understand: love, justice, compassion, power. This is called Saguna Brahman, Brahman with attributes. Who is Ishvara? Sharma describes Ishvara as the creator. Ishvara brings the universe into being. The preserver. Ishvara maintains order and harmony in creation. The ruler. Ishvara is the moral governor, ensuring that actions, karma, have consequences. For a devotee, Ishvara is someone they can pray to, love, and seek blessings from. Think of Brahman like electricity, formless, invisible, and everywhere. Ishvara is like a glowing light bulb, a visible, relatable form through which the power of Brahman shines. One God, many names. Advaita Vedanta accepts that different cultures and religions worship God in different forms and names: Vishnu, Shiva, Devi, Allah, Yahweh, but insists they all point to the same ultimate reality. The form is different, the essence is the same. Just as water takes the shape of the glass it's poured into, the divine essence takes the form each heart and mind can best connect with: God and the individual. Here's a key insight in Advaita. Ishvara is not a distant ruler separated from you. Ishvara is the reflection of your own highest self. When you look deeply enough within, the God you pray to and the self you truly are turn out to be one and the same. The Bhagavad Gita echoes this when Krishna says, "I am the self in the heart of all beings." Why have a personal God? If the ultimate truth is that you are Brahman, why not skip the idea of God altogether? Sharma explains that the concept of Ishvara is essential for most spiritual seekers, especially in the early stages. We begin with duality. I am here. God is there. Because it gives us someone to love, trust, and surrender to. As devotion deepens, the boundary between me and God dissolves. In the end, worship leads to knowledge, the understanding that God was never separate from you. So, in Advaita Vedanta, God is not an alternative to the Absolute. God is the Absolute, dressed in a form we can love. And when the veil is lifted, we see that the lover, the beloved, and love itself are all one. Chapter 3. The Self. Who are you, really? If you take away your name, your job, your body, even your thoughts, what is left? Most people spend their whole lives without ever truly meeting themselves. In Advaita Vedanta, the Self, called Atman, is not the personality you show the world, nor the mind that constantly thinks, nor the body that changes with age. The Atman is pure consciousness, the unchanging witness behind all your experiences. It is not something you have, it is what you are, the mistaken identity. Most of us live with a case of mistaken identity. We believe we are the body and mind. We say, I am tall, or I am happy, but those are temporary conditions. Advaita says, you are not the thoughts that come and go. You are not the emotions that rise and fall. You are the awareness that observes them. This is why the Upanishads boldly declare, Tattvam Asi. You are that. That means Brahman, the ultimate reality. Your true self and Brahman are not two different things. They are one and the same. The rope and the snake. Sharma explains this with a classic example. Imagine you see a snake in dim light and feel fear. But when the light improves, you see it was just a rope all along. In the same way, we mistake ourselves to be limited, mortal beings, and we suffer fear, insecurity, and desire. But when the light of knowledge shines, we see that we are the infinite self, untouched by birth or death. The witness. Think of the self as the sky. Clouds of thought and emotion may pass across it, sometimes dark, sometimes bright, but the sky itself remains unchanged and untouched. The self watches the body grow, change, and age, just as you watch seasons come and go. You may say, "I was a child, now I am an adult." But the I that is aware has been the same all along. Why don't we realize this? The answer is avidya, ignorance. Not ignorance in the sense of being uneducated, but in the sense of not knowing our true nature. This ignorance is like a veil covering the truth. Our spiritual journey is not about becoming something new. It is about removing the veil and seeing what we already are. The goal, liberation, moksha. When we realize that the Atman is Brahman, something extraordinary happens. The fear of death disappears because the self is eternal. The craving for possessions fades because nothing can add to or take away from what you truly are. Compassion naturally arises because you see the same self in all beings. Liberation is not a place you go to after death. It is a shift in perception here and now, living with the deep knowledge that you are infinite consciousness. So who are you? You are not the mask you wear, not the story you tell, not the voice in your head. You are the silent presence behind it all, the light in which your entire life unfolds. And that light is the same light that shines as the universe itself. Chapter 4. The World. Look around you. The room you're in, the people you know, the sky above, the earth beneath. All of this feels solid and undeniable. But Advaita Vedanta asks a question that turns everything upside down. Is the world truly real? Two levels of reality. Advaita Vedanta gives a surprising answer. The world is relatively real, but not absolutely real. This means that for everyday life, the world is real enough. We eat, work, feel pain and pleasure, and interact with other people. But when we search for the ultimate truth, the world is not separate from Brahman. It is a manifestation of it. The philosophical term for this appearance is Maya, the power of Brahman to project the universe, creating the illusion of multiplicity and change. What is Maya? Maya is not like a magic trick that hides the truth. It's more like a dream. While we are dreaming, the dream feels real. But when we wake up, we realize that the dream was only a temporary appearance in our mind. In the same way, waking up to the truth of Advaita shows that the world is a kind of cosmic dream, vivid and meaningful, but not the ultimate reality. The movie screen analogy. Sharma uses an image to make this clear. Imagine a movie playing on a screen. The characters, landscapes, and emotions on the screen feel real to us while we watch, but the screen itself remains unchanged, no matter what happens in the movie. Brahman is like that screen, ever present, unaffected. The world is like the movie, full of variety, drama, and change, but dependent on the screen for its existence. Why experience the world at all? If Brahman is the only truth, why have a world of names and forms? Advaita answers, because it is through this world that we come to recognize the truth. Life's experiences, joy, sorrow, love, loss, push us to ask deeper questions. Without the world, we might never awaken to our real nature. Living in the world after realization. A common fear is that realizing the world is not ultimately real will make us indifferent or careless. But Advaita teaches the opposite. When you know that everything is an expression of the same reality, you naturally live with more compassion and less attachment. You see others not as different people, but as the same self appearing in many forms. This understanding brings peace. You still play your role in the movie of life, but you are no longer enslaved by fear, desire, or the ups and downs of fortune. The world, in Advaita Vedanta, is not to be rejected or despised. It is to be understood. It is the grand stage upon which Brahman appears as mountains and rivers, friends and strangers, birth and death. And when you see it for what it truly is, you realize the stage, the actors, and the audience are all one. Conclusion: the one reality. We began with a question: what is real? Who am I? What is God? What is the world? Advaita Vedanta gives one answer to all of them. There is only Brahman. The absolute, Brahman, is infinite, eternal, and unchanging. God, Ishvara, is Brahman in a form we can love and relate to. The self, Atman, is not different from Brahman. You are that. The world is a manifestation of Brahman through the power of Maya, real for practical life, but not ultimate. When this is not just an idea in your head, but a living truth in your heart, something shifts. Fear of death fades. The hunger for endless possessions and status weakens. You see others not as strangers, but as yourself in another form. The journey is inward. Sharma reminds us that Advaita is not meant to be just an intellectual theory. It is a path of self-discovery. You don't become one with Brahman. You realize you have always been one. Like the space inside a clay pot, which was never separate from the space outside, the self has never been apart from the absolute. The pot may break, but the space remains untouched. So the invitation of Advaita is simple, but not easy. Look beyond names and forms. Look beyond the stories your mind tells you about who you are. See the light in which all experiences appear. That light is you. That light is Brahman. And when you know this, truly know it, you will understand what the sages meant when they said, the knower, the known, and the knowing are one.